Is the power of Genkit Dart plus Flutter. So this is a finished project. So basically content generation AI model. So I'll just enter a topic and a keyword and it gets generated the content. Hi Flutter family, have you ever tried to integrate AI into your Flutter application, but the only way you could do it is directly integrating into your Flutter application without actually doing any backend work, or even having to rely on an external backend solution like of JavaScript, Go, Python, JavaScript, and so on and so forth? Now we have Genkit, where we can actually build AI framework for our full stack application, and thanks to Genkit's team, now we have that in preview mode where we can actually build directly. We can build the backend integrating AI feature without relying on client side. There's different way when it comes to client and backend. Client, it might be smart, it might be fast in a way, but it's not that scalable. It's only meant for small projects. But when we have backend solution, then it is scalable. And when we talk about Genkit now, Genkit is AI framework for full stack app. So full stack app, as you can see in the description on the screen, it built and used in production by Google themselves. So Genkit is it's basically a Google open source library with tools to help you build AI powered experience. So today we'll be going through the installation. We'll be setting up our machine to work with Genkit. So we'll be building a simple app, basically a content generator application. So we'll be doing that with Flutter and that. So we use that for the backend, then we use Flutter for the front end. So we use that to integrate the AI, then we use Flutter to connect the AI to our backend solution that we created using that basically. So that's what we'll be doing throughout this video. So if you are new to this channel, if you are yet to subscribe, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you are yet to like the video, make sure you hit that like button, and probably now at the end of the video you can drop an honest comment or your feedback about the video or whatsoever you learn about the video. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So the first thing I will be going through is the setup, basically installation. So as you can see now, Genkit have 4 solutions currently: TypeScript, Go, Python, and Dart. So this is that. So we just go through the Dart installation process. So let me just start from basically get started basically. So overview is just like description of everything that you need to have installed. You have to have basically explanation. So if you want to go through it, you can actually go through the overview. But what it's trying to explain basically is that there's like 4 ways for you to actually use this Genkit. We have Gemini, we have Nano Banana for image generator, we have OpenAI, we have Anthropic basically. So that's the 4 ways. So we'll be sticking with Gemini for the sake of this tutorial basically. So all the process is actually very straightforward in this documentation. So we just go through it and also create our own application basically. So let me just move to the get started. So to get started now, the first thing is to install Genkit. Although we can create a new Dart project with this particular command, but I already created that project, so I won't go through this again. So but basically to create a new Dart project, you can just copy this Dart create, then console simple, then the name of the application, which is my Genkit app. So our own app is we are calling it AI generator, or let's say content generator basically. So let me open my terminal so we can get started. I already have it set up and installed. Actually, the projects that we'll be working on, I actually work on it before recording this video. So we'll just be going through the code base and also running it and also test how it works generally in this video basically. So let's open the terminal. So again, as I mentioned, I won't be creating a new project, but if you want to create a new Dart project, you can just run this command, then navigate to it with cd the name of the project basically. So to install Genkit now, so first to install Genkit into your CLI, just copy this command, which is this. So just paste it. As I mentioned, I already installed it, so this will take few seconds to check through the installation, then you are good to go. So once you are done installing, then install the core Genkit package. There's three main package, or there's three main package in this tutorial. In this documentation. In the code base, there will be more package that will be installing later on. So we have the Genkit itself. So if you head over to pub.dev, I just head over to, so you can just see Genkit. So you see the package. So this is the package here. So that package basically. So we have Genkit. So this is just basically adding this package into the that project. So we have the Genkit Google underscore Gemini AI. Basically, it's just a shorthand, then semantics basically. So that's the three package that we are to add into the project. So this will give us all the functionality or all the method that is necessary to actually use this Genkit in this our DAT project, and also use the Google AI model basically. So the next thing now is to configure your model. So let me just go through the code base. So I've opened my VS Code. So this is the project basically. As I mentioned, I already built this project before recording this video, do a lot of back and forth with the project and all. So I just come with a finished project. So I'll just go through it and have something for you. By the way, I designed it with Stitch. So I use Google Stitch to design the project. If you are not familiar with Stitch, I actually made a video on Stitch plus anti-gravity plus Flutter, and that's what I did exactly with this particular design. So I use Stitch to generate the design. So you can see the design on Stitch. Basically, you enter the topic, the keyword, you click on generate content, then we send the prompt to Gemini, then Gemini generates the content basically. So that's pretty much it. So I use Stitch to generate the content, then I use Gemini 3.1 Pro to actually write the code for this particular screen. So I won't go through how I walk through that. If you want to watch that, just go through the video I made on Stitch plus anti-gravity plus Flutter. The link should be in the description or displayed somewhere around this video. So that's basically it on the interface of the project that we are building. So so now, as I mentioned, this is, as you can see in this project folder. Now let me collapse so you can see I have this backend folder and the Flutter project basically. So if you go through the documentation, you can see that the device creates like a DAT project basically. So if that's how I actually did it, so I created this DAT project. I just create a new Flutter project, then I move the project inside this Flutter project, then I just rename it to Backend basically. So that's pretty much it on this. So that's just the way around go about this basically. So this is the backend, the DAT project we actually created basically. So inside the bin now, this is where we are writing our code. So if you go to the spec, you see all the package I installed. So basically the first three package that I mentioned, which is Genkit Google, Gemini AI, then semantic basically. So those are the three package that this command is doing. And by the way, thanks to Ivana for this robust article. Shout out to her. Basically, I actually followed through the article for me to actually arrive at this tutorial. So shout out to actually there's more robust deployment, which I will not be covering in this video. So if you want to see the complete, if you want to deploy it or get some other information about how to use Genkit, I will put the link to this article in the description, so you can just go through it and just have more knowledge about it basically. So that's that about that. All right, so now the next thing now is configure your model API. So as I mentioned earlier, we are using Google Gemini basically, and there's this Google AI Studio Lab where there's you can generate your API key. So to do that, now if I click on this get the Gemini API key, although the same if you watch my previous video that I used Gemini CLI, I used the same key. So as you can see, I already generated the key since 2025, October 16, 2025. So that's the same key I'm using on this project. So we'll just copy the API key, we export it to this particular project, save it to our development, debug mode, so we our Gemini can have access to the API key that we are using for this particular project. So that's that. But before we actually get to this, let me just copy this so I can just put it in my let me just put it at the bottom. I will still explain on this code, so just give it a few minutes. Let me just comment this like that so we can come back to it later. All right, so now after configuring the Gemini API key, then the next thing now is creating the application. So this is where the major explanation is actually. So this is where we are integrating our Gemini AI, or this is where we are integrating the Genkit basically. So now, according to the documentation, you can see this documentation, the project basically is like a recipe generator platform where you submit like the ingredients and also dietary restriction basically. So you give like a prompt. Probably you want to generate like you want to have recipe of how to cook let's say Chinese rice or whatsoever. Then you can say probably dietary restriction, probably you're a vegetarian or whatsoever, probably you have allergies and stuff like that. You can put it there, so the AI model will go through it, create a recipe based on the ingredient and also the allergy. So it will basically, that's what this particular tutorial is for. So the first thing is they define input schema, then output schema. So for this our own particular project now, as I mentioned, we are building content generator project. So you can see now I have content input. Basically we are requesting for the topic and the keyword. If you check Google Stitch, as you can see in the design, we have content topic. So the user will just enter like probably a summary, probably a topic, let's say Genkit plus that AI framework whatsoever. You just write any topic, then some keyword, then the AI model will generate a well refined title for the article, subtitle, content, and then the SEO optimization, then the tags. So that's pretty much it. So that's what we have here. So the inputs, I mean what the user is submitting, that's the input basically. So that is content, topic, and the keywords. That's the only two, and the keyword is optional. That's why we have this non-label flag that we have here. So it's optional. If the user does not have any keyword, it's not necessary. The most important part is the content topic, because that's what the AI model will generate on. So that's pretty much it. So we create like our content input, then our output. So basically we want like five information from, like we want a structure 5 information from the response that the AI model will be giving us. The first is title, the title of the article, subtitle, content, the body, the SEO text, and the tags. So that's pretty much it. So that is every information we want in response from the AI model. So this is the best way to actually structure it in a way. So if you check through the documentation as well, that's what they did here. So first, the inputs, the user is submitting ingredient, and if there's any restriction basically. So as you can see, this one also is non-labeled, so it's not important. If there's no allergy, then you can just leave it blank. So then the output, so the output has the title, the description, preparation time, cook time, servings, ingredients, instruction, tips, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it on the output. So the next thing now is our data entry point, which is this. So this is where we are actually doing the integration. So let me just go to the my code base basically. So inside our entry point, which is main function, so we have we declare this variable, which is Genkit, and we are using Google AI. Again, if you check the documentation, there's other AI model that you can use. If we go to this overview, if you go to so you can see we have for Gemini we have Google AI, for Nano Banana. Also, if you check it again, this is Google AI. For Nano Banana, you can see that the Gemini is Gemini 2.5 Flash. So for Nano Banana, you can see Gemini Flash image. That's the difference. For image, that's strictly image. If you want to build like a platform, let's say background image generator platform, that's what you use Nano Banana. Then we have OpenAI. As you can see, this has changed from Google AI to OpenAI, then basically OpenAI model, then the model. Basically, you can see the difference from Gemini to OpenAI. Then we have Anthropic, basically, and that is what we have here. So if you want to use any of these platforms, make sure to actually check the one you are using. So as I mentioned, we are using Gemini, and that's why we are using Google AI here, and we are using Gemini 2.5 Flash, basically. So if you want to work on, let's say you want to build image generator platform, make sure you update this to image, basically, so you won't encounter any issue. So that's pretty much it about that. So as I mentioned, we call the Genkit. Keep in mind that we have already installed Genkit package into our that project. That's why we have access to the Genkit class. Then the plugin, we specify the plugin that we want to use. So actually, I guess you can actually use more than one plugin, although I didn't try it, and I'm not sure they mentioned it in the documentation, but according to what I can see, they say plugins and it has a list, so you can probably use more than one plugin. So if you want to use the Gemini itself, the Nano Banana, for text and image, I believe you can use the two for OpenAI and the fourth one as well. So that's pretty much it, I believe. So you can try it out yourself. So the next thing now is to specify what we want to generate, and that's what we have here. So we have this content generator, basically. So content generator, just a variable name that we give this. So with the variable that we have declared here already. So AI.define flow. So the define flow, now that's where we are specifying what we want to generate. So we give it a name, content generator. This is just like a general name. When we are running a test, you see what this name actually means, basically. So as you can see in the sample, the name they have here is recipe generator flow, basically. So that's pretty much it. So we have the input schema. So input schema is what the user is submitting, just like prompt. Like if you go to ChatGPT or Grok or whatsoever AI model we have there, what you are submitting to the AI model, and the response is giving you. So this is the input schema. So we have different schema type. It's not just normal string or normal data type that we have. It's not just string, integer, double, and so like and the likes. We have, as you can see, I commented this line. If you are just passing a string, then you can just call this semantics type the string. So if we let me comment this, or let me just comment this so you can see. Let me comment this. Let me just delete this. So let me. Yeah, so you can see schematic type, we have the boolean, all the data type, basically boolean, double, dynamic, integer, list, map, non-label, string, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it, basically the same thing that we have. So in case you are not, the user is not passing more than one value, and you don't need like a schema like I have here, you can just pretty much pass this schematic type string. Basically, the user is submitting like a string value, basically, instead of using this content type. So since I already declare, like, let's say a model for what we are passing to the AI model, that's what we have here, which is content type, content input rather. So this is the content input. So we are passing this, then content itself, the output, as you can see, input and output. So this is the output. So we want the output to be structured in this format. So that's what we have here, basically. So that's why we have this content $$ schema, basically. So the next thing now is the output, the summation, where we are declaring what we want to generate, and also the prompt, probably the AI model we want to use. So that's why we use this content input. Basically, we are just giving this one a data type. You can as well leave it, or you can just declare it. In case you are using, let's say, string, this has to be string, or you can just leave it as input without strongly like declaring the data type. Basically, you can just leave the input or whatever name you give it, or put in the data type there, basically. So that's pretty much it. So the next thing now is the response. So we have AI.generate. So the generate now has a lot of parameters that you can pass. The first is the model, and as I show you in the sample in the overview, so in this sample overview, which is the model, so the model depends on the AI model that you are using. So we have different model, and for this Gemini, we have Google AI, basically the Google AI that we use there. So Google AI.Gemini, then the current version, which is Gemini, I think 2.5. I believe there's some higher version, but I think the current version that is with Genkit right now is Gemini 2.5, because that's what they're using. That's what they use in their documentation. But I believe if I open my let me open my ChatGPT, if I can. Okay, let me open my ChatGPT. Or I choose ChatGPT. Basically, this Copilot. So this is Gemini 3.1 Pro. I have Gemini 3.1 Pro basically, but I'm not sure it's working here. But regardless, that is what they have in their documentation, and that's what we are using basically. So just declare the model that you want to use here, then this config. So Gemini options. So there's different options here. They put temperature. I actually don't know the reason for the temperature actually, but it's in the documentation. I tried to do some research about it. I couldn't actually get my hands over it, but that's pretty much, although it does not really have any, if you remove it, actually I tried removing it, I didn't see any changes or any effects basically, but regardless, that's what we have. So you can either put it, if there's any minute to it, probably I will add it to the article I'll be writing at the end of this video. So the next thing now is the prompt. So now we are adding extra data to what the user is writing. Now in the UI of the application, now the user is just writing a topic and a keyword, but what we are submitting to the AI model or to the AI agent is actually more than the content, topic, and the keyword. We are actually we are giving like a clear instruction to the AI model or to the AI agent, but what you are collecting from the user is just like general data basically. So now you can see from the prompt, basically, if you just want to pass directly, just want to send whatever the user sent directly to the AI model, we can just write prompt, then just call the user input basically, and that's pretty much it. But we want to be clear on what the AI agent will generate. That's why we have this specific instruction, which is generate a blog post about, this is the content topic, include the following keywords, input keyword if the user enter any keyword, otherwise none. So format the output as a JSON with the following structure: the title, the subtitle, content, SEO text, and tags. So you can see the clear instruction, although this is behind the scene. In the front end part, the user is not seeing this, but the user will get the output in the format that we have created. So that's pretty much on the prompt. So, and the output schema, as you can see, the output, this is how we want the output basically. This is the output. So in this format, that's what we are declaring here. So if you want your output, let's say media file, in if you're using Nano Banana, in media file there's media, there's string, and there's others as well. I believe it is majorly media on the string basically. So there's media tag here. So if it's media, you can just use media dot, like in even project she was using, what's it called, image generator. So as you can see in our project, let me just quickly check. Okay, this is not I want to quickly see the projects. As you can see, she used Flash, the Nano Banana, and the return is response.media. She actually used like a media schema. So this is, as you can see, output media.schema basically. So that's pretty much what I was referring to. So if it is Nano Banana, you can use that as well. So that's pretty much it. So we can check if the response probably is an error somewhere, then throw an exemption, otherwise we just return the output. That's pretty much it. So what we have here, basically, this one is just like having like a default, like when we are running a test, so we are sending this data to the AI model and a keyword. This is just for test purpose, so that's why we just like run the content generator flow. So once we launch this project now, we will test this. So that's pretty much on this whole thing. And mind you, we are using a generator for this. As you can see, I have this generator package, and if you go to my prospect, you can see build runner basically. So that's why I have this. So because of this model that I want to use, basically the schema basically, so you can just run that run. So build runner, then build basically. Okay, I have to be in the backend. As you can see, this is like a two project. We have the backend and we have the Flutter. So if you check my directory, we are on the content generator, which is on the Flutter project. So let me just move to the backend. So this is the backend. So this is where we have so I can just run that. We don't actually need to put run that build runner build. Oh, I think we actually need to put the run. Yeah, build runner build, like that. So that build runner dot build, it takes few seconds, then generate the schema, and that's what we have inside my Genkit.g.dat basically. So that's pretty much it. Nothing to modify here, as clear as the instruction is over there. So that's pretty much it on this. So now the next thing is for us to just test. So if we go to the documentation now, we can start running it. Okay, this is to run the application, so that's run. So if we run it now, we are going to run to an error, simply because we are here to submit the API key. So if I let me just try it, that's run. So as you can see, let me just go through to the top. You can see Genkit exception, API key must be set to an API key, so invalid argument. So basically, because we're here to set our API key, so for you now, just head over to Google AI Studio. So once you generate, it's very easy to generate. So just if you don't have any API key, if you don't have any existing API key, just click on generate and you are good to go. So just copy it. So I'll copy mine now. I'll go back here. So I think I paste yeah, so this is it. So once you call export Gemini API key, make sure you delete everything here and paste your API keys. For it to actually work, you have to be in that same terminal that you run that earlier command, which is export Gemini API key basically. So now in this my backend project, I can now run that run basically. So this should work now. So just give it a few seconds. As you can see, it works basically, and because of what we set in this our default content that we asked it to generate, the benefit of meditation, the keyword, so you can see the tags, it already generate the content, but it is inside our console. So another perfect way we can actually see this, there's a Genkit console that we can actually run. So as you can see, testing the developer UI. So the developer UI is a local tool for testing, inspecting Genkit components like flows with a visual interface. So basically, just run this particular command, which is Genkit start _, then that's run. So I'll just copy this, then go back to my terminal, then stop this, then paste Genkit start, then run this particular command. So it will open up this locals for 4033. So I've just opened it on my browser. So locals 4033. So you see, sorry, let me refresh. Is it 4033? Okay, 34. Okay, let's just open this 30. Okay, right, no fun. Let me try and see what's going on. Okay, Genkit Developer UI. Oh, all right. So the locals you're actually using is 4,000. So I just open 4,000. So let me close this. So locals 4,000 basically. So as you can see, so these are all the tests that we just did. Although, yeah, these are the ones that I did when I was trying out the project. As you can see, the time 5:45 p.m. and the one that we just tested a few seconds ago, a few minutes ago, 2:16. As you can see my time now. So now basically I can open the flow. Now if I click on this content generator, by the way, this content generator is the name that you set here. So this is the name content generator. So whatever name you set here, that's the name that you are going to see Yeah, so as you can see the response, let me just open it in the flow. Let's click here. Let me copy a sample here. So we can paste here, so we can just run this. The benefit of meditation. Oh, let me just say the benefit of reading books. Let me change this keyword books, intelligence. What else? Smart. Let me just put smart. All right, so we are going. Let me just run it. So you can see the output take few seconds. So as you can see the output. So title, unlocking your potential, the profound benefit of reading books. Subtitle, you can see the content as well. You can see the SEO text. You can see the tags. So basically that's exactly what we wanted to generate for us, and it follows the structure that we have set, which is the title, the subtitle, the SEO tags, the SEO text, and the tags basically, and that's pretty much everything we want. So everything actually works fine now. So the next thing now, everything works fine in our backend. So the next thing now is to actually connect our backend to our front end, and that's where Flutter comes in. So that's the next thing that we are going to be doing. So as I mentioned, we are following this UI, and for this UI now, as I mentioned, I use Google Stitch to generate the design. So as you can see, I tweaked the design a little bit. So this is the final piece. So this is what we'll be doing. And how did I generate this design? I actually use VS Code. I didn't use anti-gravity this time around. So I use VS Code. So to connect your MCP server to VS Code, just click on export. So export, you see the MCP. You can copy the prompts. If you click on setup, use your API key will appear here. You can change the ID. So if you change the ID, let me see. Okay, VS Code, you can see cause basically almost all the IDE. So all the IDE basically. So you can see for VS Code, copy this. You can go to your MCP. So just if you open your command palette, basically search MCP add server. So once you click on that server, it will add basic question. So click on HTTP. So select HTTP, just give it a name. So the MCP server URL. So for Stitch, it is stitch.with.google. I'm not sure I'm correct, but I think stitch.with.google.com/MCP basically. So you enter it, then it will open up just an ID for the server or for the MCP server. So you can just enter any name, basically just enter Stitch. So that's pretty much it. Then it will open the JSON format where you can actually copy and paste. Let me open this again, where you can actually copy and paste this. So that's pretty much it, and that's how I was able to generate all the screens with VS Code basically. So I gave it some prompts. I also do some tweaking, not just vibe basically, but deliberate iteration for it to actually accomplish what is needed for this project. So that's pretty much it on that side. So we still come back to this side. As you can see, I didn't really talk about this side. We'll come back to this later. So let's just leave it for now. So the next thing now is basically connecting our Flutter project. So as I mentioned, we already built the screen. This is the screen. So I will run the app now. I will run the Flutter app now. So do that before I start explaining. So let me just run the Flutter app. So we are running it on Chrome basically. So that's where we are launching it. So where we are still waiting for it to launch. So I'll just go through it basically. So simple main.dat. I will skip the UI part, just go straight to the implementation. So now inside our service now, that's where we have the content service basically. So inside the content service, that's where we are defining, again, inside the Flutter project, we are installing the two package, which is Genkit and schematics. Basically, that's the two package for us to actually connect the backend to frontend. So inside the content service now, that's where we are connecting the backend to frontend. Okay, the app is actually running already. So let's see how it looks like. Few seconds. All right, so as you can see, this is pretty much it. So I can just type a topic, type a keyword if I have any, then click on generate, and it will see the output. So before, don't let us test it for now. Let me go back to our code base so we can just walk through this before coming back here. So basically, let me open this by this side so I can just compare it. So this is the backend code base at, I believe this should be left at your side, this side basically, and this is the front end integration, this is the backend. So you can see now we have content service where we are actually connecting to the backend platform. So now we declare this define remote action, the URL, and currently we are connected to a local. So how do we like now connect to our backend? So that is where we now have this router. So this router now, so basically the router creates like a route that maps URL to handlers basically. So for that route you have to install another package which is Shelf. So Shelf router, let me open the backend pub spec. So if you check through the backend pub spec, there's 4 more packages that were added, which is Genkit Shelf, Shelf router, Shelf Crocs header basically. I actually can't remember the full meaning of Crocs. I think content basically. Anyways, that's by the way. Those are the 4 packages that you've been installing for the backend router to work basically. As you can see, everything is imported in this part of the screen. So now back to the router. Yeah, this is pretty much it. So this is where everything we are doing, I mean, to give access to our front end to be able to connect to it. All right, so let me collapse this. So now, as you can see, now we have the router. We declared the router. So the router, then we give it a name. So content generator. So keep in mind that the route name that we are giving it here, that is what we must use here. So as you can see, the locales that we declare, we already say the server that we are listening to, which is localhost 3400. So basically 3400, that's what we are using, and that's what we are using here. As you can see, localhost 3400, then the route name, which is content generator. If you use something outside of what you declare, then it won't work. So you have to use exactly the same, which is whatever name you are setting here, that's what we are using here as well. So that's the router. It basically maps the URL to the handler. Then we have a chain of middleware plus a final handler basically. So that is what we are using here. So handler, the pipeline, and the Crocs header. Basically, Crocs is a way to give security between request and middleman basically. So that's what middleware is doing basically. So if you go through my course on full stack with that frog, you learn about middleware more on that particular course basically. Yeah, so that's pretty much on what we are doing here. So the router core, then we set a localhost for the router core. So that's what we are doing here, which is localhost 3400, and that's what we declare in this our content service. So that's what we are listening to here. So that's pretty much how it was able to connect to our backend. So this is for development purpose. When you want to deploy, we will go through that. Although I won't go through that in this video, I will direct you to the article I mentioned earlier. So that's pretty much it on the URL. So we declare the localhost, then the input schema. Let me close this. I think we are done with this for now. So I've got the input schema, the output, then generate content. So basically the output that we are submitting, I mean the input that we are submitting, and also the result that we are expecting. So this is like, it's just like when you are connecting to like REST API, when you are submitting data to the API, to the endpoint, then you are expecting like a JSON response basically. So that's what the same thing that we are doing here. So after submitting the input from the user, which is content input, the topic and the keyword from the user, then the results, we await the results, the action. So the result is what the Gemini, the AI agent, is giving us, and that's what we are printing to the user. So that's pretty much it. So you can see this content input, now we have a model for it. So inside this my folder, you can see model folder, content models. So this is the content models. This is where I declare the models, the input model, the output model, basically everything that we have inside this our schema here. So basically that's what it is. That's what we have inside this content model basically. So let me know if you actually want this project on my GitHub. If you need access to it, you can just drop a comment in the comment section and I will upload it to my GitHub project. So if you need access to it, that's fine. I will just upload it on my GitHub, but let me know. So that's pretty much on the model part. So that's that about that. So the feature, basically this is where we have the home page, where like basically the design part and where these are submitting the input. Then we have the home controller for the loading state, the response. So as you can see, the home controller, the where we are checking if the user submitted data, and also the data. You can see the generate content. So the generate content, the topic, the keyword. So the topic that we are submitting to the user, to the AI agent, and also the keyword basically. So that's pretty much it. So we are still connecting to content service, which is this generate content. That's what we have. That's what we are doing here. So content service dot generate content. So we are sending the topic and the keyword. Then this is the response. So you can see the title from the response, title, subtitle, body, paragraph. So there's some splitting here. So split where trim is empty. Basically, this is just like text justification or text arrangement basically. So we have the SEO optimizations and the tags basically. So that's pretty much it. This is just like to fetch the content, the function basically, and that's that. Then when it's done generating the content, then we can clear the user input basically. So that's pretty much it on this our home controller. So that's that. The home page, we are calling the function, we are submitting the input to the AI agent, and that's all. So that's pretty much it. So now we can now test our application. So if I go to this our app now, I can just run. Keep in mind that you have to export your API key, although we have already done that, but in case you have not done that, this won't work. Just like it didn't work in the console, it will also work when you run the app. So let me just say, let's talk about Genkit plus that. So let's say Genkit plus that, building AI powered full stack apps. So let's just leave it like that. Let's say keyword AI. Let's say Flutter, Gemini, that Google. Google. What else? I think that's pretty much it. So now we can submit. So as you can see, submit take few seconds to generate the content. All right. So as you can see, this is a comprehensive content. So as you can see, Genkit plus that crafting AI powered full stack app with Flutter and Gemini. A subtitle unlocking the future of application development, and also the content, and also you can see the SEO optimization, the tags as well. So that's pretty much on this our Genkit that with Flutter basically. So that's pretty much it. As you can see, after the that's pretty much on the get started basically. So you can run through the project again, see how it works and test it. This you can actually use to build fun project, like as I mentioned. You can use it to build like background generator, image generator, probably anything that you are just interested in. Like the example on the documentation recipe, let's say a particular topic on a particular niche that you can modify or that you can update yourself. So that's pretty much on it. So let me know what you think about this particular solution with Genkit and that, and keep in mind that this is actually a very good solution because there's big difference between integrating AI from the client side and also integrating AI at the backend level. First of all, client side is not scalable. I mean, it's for small projects. Probably just want to build a small project, but when it comes to backend development, you are planning to scale. So it's for more robust projects, and that is why this Genkit for that is actually a very big deal, and that is one of it. So one of the few tips that I'll just mention before the end of this video is that when you are creating something, be very descriptive. As you can see in this my prompt that I mentioned here, be very descriptive about what you actually want, so the AI agent as well can generate to your expectation. Basically, as you can see, the format that I mentioned here and everything, it is very intact, and that is why we are able to get like a very good response from the AI model. So that's pretty much it. And just a quick pause, if you want more advanced to this, I have a free newsletter. I have over 50 people that already signed up for the newsletter. I don't know what you're waiting for. The newsletter basically is where I actually share some new innovation about Flutter, about mobile development, about software engineering at large, and probably any new AI agent that is out there, or any new tips or whatsoever that I think is worth sharing. So the newsletter is just once in a week. Basically mostly on Saturday or Sunday, so there won't be any spam as it is, and you can unsubscribe at any time. So the link will be in the description of this video or in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter. I would love to see you there and have you read my newsletter. So thank you very much for signing up, and without further ado, that will be the end of this video. In case you are yet to subscribe to the channel, make sure you do that right now, and also hit that subscribe button, and make sure to drop an honest comment in the video. And thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.